Mia, a 10-year-old girl with a strong sense of right and wrong, always fought to protect those she loved, no matter how tough it was. On the day meant to be her mother's happiest, Mia makes a choice that changes everything. As she watches, her mom Laura about to marry Ryan, a man hiding dangerous secrets, Mia bravely shares a shocking truth no one expected. Her bold move stops the wedding cold, but what happens next stuns everyone. Why did Mia's words cause such a big reaction? How did this young girl's courage reveal the dark truth about her mum's fiancé? And how did her actions change their lives forever? Stay with us to find out. And before we start, tell us where you're watching from in the comments below. If this story of bravery and honesty touches you, please subscribe for more inspiring tales. The ceremony unfolded, the officiant's words a distant hum to Mia. Her eyes darted between her mom and Ryan, her small hands gripping the basket so tightly her knuckles whitened. Memories of the past 6 months crashed over her like waves. It began on a stormy April evening, rain pattering against the windows of their cozy suburban home. Mia was sprawled on the living room rug, sketching a forest scene when the doorbell rang. Laura's face lit up as she ushered Ryan inside, her voice bubbling with excitement. "Mia, this is Ryan," she'd said, her cheeks flushed. He's very special to me." Ryan had knelt to Mia's level, his blue eyes twinkling. "An artist, huh? Bet you'll draw something amazing for me one day." Mia had smiled, cautious but intrigued. Since her dad walked out when she was 4, it had been just her and Laura, a team stitched together by love and resilience. Ryan's arrival felt like a new chapter, and Laura's joy was infectious. He brought Mia-colored pencils, took them to the zoo and filled their home with laughter. But as weeks turned to months, Mia saw cracks in his charm. When Laura wasn't around, Ryan's warmth vanished. His smiles turned icy, his voice sharp. One evening, when Laura was at her nursing shift, Mia asked about a strange call she'd overheard. "Stay out of my business, kid," he'd snapped, his eyes narrowing with a menace that made her shrink back. Mia's thoughts snapped back to the church as the officiant's voice rose. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here." She remembered the late-night calls Ryan took in the backyard, his voice low and urgent, the locked briefcase he guarded like a secret, the man she'd seen him meet in a shadowy alley, slipping him a thick envelope. Each moment had built a puzzle, and the pieces now formed a terrifying picture. She glanced at Laura, so happy, so blind to the danger. Could Mia shatter her mom's world? Could she stay silent and let the darkness win? The officiant's voice cut through her turmoil. "If anyone can show just cause why this couple cannot lawfully be joined, let them speak now or forever hold their peace." The words hung heavy, the church falling silent. Mia's breath caught, her heart thundering. This was her moment. Fear clawed at her. What if no one believed her? What if she ruined everything? The officiant nodded, about to proceed, when Mia's voice exploded. "Stop!" The word tore through the sanctuary, raw and desperate. "You can't marry him, Mom. Ryan's going to hurt you." The church reeled, Mia's cry echoing off the vaulted ceiling. Guests gasped, their whispers swelling, into a chaotic hum. Laura's bouquet trembled, petals drifting to the floor. "Mia, sweetheart, what's wrong?" she asked, her voice cracking with confusion and fear. Ryan's grin froze, his eyes narrowing as he turned to Mia, a flicker of panic beneath his charm. "Mia, this isn't the time," he said, his tone smooth but edged with steel. Mia stepped forward, her red dress swaying, her small frame shaking but defiant. "Mom, he's lying," she said, her voice quivering yet fierce. "Ryan's planning something bad. I heard him talking about an insurance policy. $2 million if you die. He's working with someone named Derek to make it look like an accident." The crowd erupted, guests leaning forward, some clutching their programs in shock. Laura's eyes darted to Ryan, searching for reassurance, but his composure was crumbling, his jaw tight. Ryan forced a laugh, raising his hands to calm the crowd. "Laura, she's just nervous. Kids have wild imaginations, right?" He turned to the guests, his smile strained. Big day, big feelings. But Mia wasn't backing down. "I'm not imagining it," she shouted, tears welling. "I saw the policy on your laptop, Ryan, and I heard you with Derek planning to hurt Mom after the wedding." The church was a storm of voices, guests standing, some glaring at Ryan. Let's rewind to see how Mia reached this breaking point. It was a cold March night when the first seed of doubt took root. Laura was working late at the hospital, leaving Mia with Ryan. He was in the dining room, on his phone, his voice a low hiss. "Derek, it's locked in," he'd said. "She doesn't suspect a thing. We move after the honeymoon." Mia, coloring at the kitchen table, froze, her crayon hovering. She pretended to focus on her drawing, but her ears strained. When Ryan noticed her, he ended the call, his eyes cold. "Listening in, kid?" he snapped. Mia shook her head, her heart racing, but the fear settled deep. Over the next few months, Mia became a silent detective. When Laura was around, Ryan was perfect, helping with homework, joking about her sketches. But alone he was different. "You're always underfoot," he'd muttered once, when she'd left her sketchbook on the couch. The words cut, but Mia stayed quiet, not wanting to dim Laura's happiness. Laura was radiant, planning the wedding with starry eyes. "Ryan's our fresh start, Mia," she'd say, hugging her tight. Mia wanted to believe it, but Ryan's secrets grew heavier. One incident burned in her memory. It was a rainy Saturday, 3 months before the wedding. Laura was at a friend's baby shower, and Ryan was watching Mia. She was in her room, sketching, when she heard him on the phone. Creeping to the stairs, she listened. "The policy set," Ryan said, his voice chilling. "Post-honeymoon. We staged the accident, quick and clean." Mia's blood ran cold. "Accident. Policy." She slipped back to her room, her mind spinning. She had to tell Laura, but fear held her back. What if her mom thought she was jealous? Mia tried once, a month before the wedding. They were baking cookies, flour dusting their aprons, when she spoke up. "Mom, I don't think Ryan likes me," she said softly. Laura frowned, setting down a cookie cutter. "Sweetie, he adores you. He's just stressed." Mia pushed on, her voice trembling. "He's different when you're not here. I heard him talk about an accident." Laura sighed, her tone gentle but dismissive. "Mia, weddings are hectic. You probably misheard. Ryan loves us." Mia's heart sank, her courage crumbling. As the wedding loomed, Mia's dread intensified. She noticed Ryan's absences, his locked briefcase, his furtive texts. One night, unable to sleep, she crept downstairs and found Ryan's laptop open. Her hands shook as she clicked through files, finding one labeled LT Insurance. It was a policy for Laura, with a $2 million payout for accidental death. Mia's breath caught. This was real. What would you do with a secret this heavy? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more stories of bravery. Back at the church, Mia's words hung in the air. Laura's face paled, her eyes locked on Ryan. "Is this true?" she whispered, her voice breaking. Ryan reached for her, his charm faltering. "Laura, she's confused. I'd never—" But Mia cut in, tears streaming. "You're a liar. Ryan, you're going to hurt my mum." The church was a cauldron of chaos, Mia's accusation igniting a firestorm. Laura's bouquet slipped, scattering petals across the altar. "Mia, are you sure?" she asked, her voice trembling with dread. Mia nodded, tears spilling down her cheeks. "I'm sure, Mom. I heard him with Derek. They're planning to kill you for the insurance money." Guests gasped, some clutching their neighbors, others glaring at Ryan. His face tightened, his charm dissolving under Mia's relentless truth. Ryan stepped forward, his voice sharp. "Laura, this is absurd. She's a kid with a wild imagination." He turned to the crowd, forcing a chuckle. "You can't believe this, right?" But Mia's resolve was iron. "I saw the policy, Ryan," she shouted. $2 million if Mum dies, and I found photos of you with Derek and a woman planning together." The sanctuary roared, guests standing, some shouting accusations. Laura's eyes bored into Ryan, doubt cracking her trust. "Explain it," she said, her voice low and strained. "Tell me she's wrong." Ryan's eyes darted to the exit, sweat beading on his forehead. "It's a misunderstanding," he stammered. "The policy's for our future, for Mia's future. I was going to tell you—" But Mia cut him off, her voice rising. "No, you told Derek you'd be rich after Mum was gone. I heard you in the backyard." Laura's hand flew to her mouth, tears spilling. "Ryan, what have you done?" "She," whispered, stepping back. The officiant, visibly shaken, tried to speak, but the guests drowned him out. Laura's best friend, Sarah, pushed through the crowd, her face fierce. "Laura, call the police, now!" Laura fumbled for her phone, her hands shaking as she dialed 911. "Hello, I need help," she said, her voice breaking. "My fiancé. I think he's planning to kill me. Grace Chapel, please hurry." Ryan's eyes widened, and in a flash he bolted down the aisle, shoving past stunned guests. "Stop him!" Sarah yelled, but Ryan burst through the doors, vanishing into the blinding sunlight. The church erupted, guests spilling onto the steps, some chasing after Ryan, others crowding around Laura and Mia. Laura pulled Mia into her arms, tears streaming. "I'm so sorry, sweetheart," she whispered. "I should have listened." Mia hugged her tightly, her red dress crumpled against Laura's gown. "It's okay, Mom. I just want you safe." Sarah knelt beside them, her voice steady. "You're a hero, Mia. You saved her." As sirens wailed in the distance, Mia's mind raced. She'd stopped the wedding, but Ryan was gone, and Derek was still out there. "Mum, there's more," she said urgently. "Derek's part of it. I saw them, in an alley exchanging an envelope." Laura's face hardened, her fear turning to resolve. "We'll tell the police everything," she said, her voice firm despite her tears. 2 officers entered the church, their presence cutting through the chaos. "Miss Thompson?" the lead officer, Officer Hayes, asked. Laura nodded, standing, her arm around Mia. "I'm Laura, this is Mia. She's the one who told us about Ryan." Hayes knelt to Mia's level, his eyes kind but serious. "You're incredibly brave, Mia. Can you tell us what you know?" Mia nodded, her voice steady as she recounted the calls, the policy, and the photos. "Derek has a scar on his cheek," she added, picturing the alley. "They were planning something awful for after the honeymoon." Officer Hayes exchanged a glance with his partner, Officer Lee. "Sounds like Derek Malone," Lee said. "Known con artist, history of violent scams. If he's with Ryan, this is big." Hayes turned to Laura. "We need you and Mia to come to the station for a full statement." Laura squeezed Mia's hand, her red dress a bright spot in the chaos. "Whatever it takes," she said. Sarah stepped forward, taking charge. "Laura, I'll handle the guests. Go with the police." Laura managed a grateful nod. "Thank you, Sarah." As they prepared to leave, Mia felt a surge of relief tinged with fear. She'd saved her mom, but the danger wasn't over. Have you ever had to speak a truth that could break someone's heart? Share your story below and subscribe for more tales of courage. The ride to the station was tense, Laura and Mia clinging to each other in the patrol car, the world outside a blur of uncertainty. The police station was a stark contrast to the chapel's warmth, its fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, walls lined with faded posters. Laura and Mia sat in a small interview room, a scratched table between them and Officer Hayes. Mia's red dress was a vivid splash of color in the drab space, her braids slightly frayed, but her eyes sharp with determination. Laura's face was pale, but her grip on Mia's hand was unyielding. "We're in this together, sweetheart," she whispered. Mia nodded, her courage bolstered by her mom's strength. Hayes opened his notebook, his voice calm but urgent. "Mia, you've given us a strong start. Now we need every detail from the beginning." Mia took a deep breath, diving into her story. She described Ryan's dual nature, charming and attentive with Laura, cold and cutting with her. The late-night calls in the backyard, his voice hushed and menacing. The locked briefcase he guarded obsessively. The alley meeting with Derek, where she'd seen them exchange a thick envelope under a flickering streetlight. "It felt wrong," Mia said, her voice steady. "Like they were hiding something big." Laura listened, her expression shifting from shock to fury. "I thought he was just busy with his consulting job," she said, her voice bitter. "He was always on his phone, but he said it was clients. I trusted him completely." Officer Lee, standing by the door, nodded sympathetically. "People like Ryan, real name Ethan Cole, are masters at deception. But Mia saw through him." Mia's voice grew stronger as she recounted a pivotal night. Unable to sleep, she'd crept downstairs and found Ryan's laptop open on the kitchen counter. Her hands trembled as she clicked through files, finding one labeled LT Policy. It was a life insurance document for Laura, with a $2 million payout for accidental death. "I didn't understand it all," Mia said, "but I knew it was bad." She also found photos, Ryan with Derek and a blonde woman, laughing in a way that felt too intimate. "They looked like a team," Mia said, her voice catching. "Not like Mum was part of it." Laura's eyes filled with tears. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" she asked, her voice breaking. Mia looked down, her fingers twisting the hem of her red dress. "I tried, Mum, but you were so happy. I didn't want to ruin it." Laura pulled her close, guilt washing over her. "I'm so sorry, Mia. You were protecting me and I didn't see." Hayes leaned forward, his tone gentle. "Mia, those photos, can you describe the woman?" Mia pictured the images. Blonde, red lipstick, always wore big earrings. She and Ryan were close, like they shared a secret. Lee jotted it down. "Sounds like Lisa Grant, Malone's partner in crime. We'll track her." The door opened, and an officer handed Hayes a report. "Cole's in custody," he said. "Caught at a motel 20 miles out. He's talking, trying to shift blame to Malone." Laura's shoulders sagged with relief, but Mia's heart raced. "What about Derek?" she asked. Hayes met her gaze. "We've got an APB out. With your description, we're closing in." Laura filled in her own observations, piecing together Ryan's manipulation. He'd pushed for a honeymoon in Costa Rica, insisting on cliff diving and jungle treks. "I thought he was adventurous," she said, her voice hollow. "He was setting me up to die." As the interview stretched into hours, more details emerged. Ryan had confessed to a scam, a staged diving accident, with Derek as the witness to ensure Laura's death looked accidental. Lisa posed as Ryan's cousin to gain Laura's trust. "It was a long con," Hayes said, "but Mia's courage blew it apart. What would you do if you uncovered a plot this sinister?" Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more stories of truth. As they left the station, Laura hugged Mia tightly, her red dress a beacon of hope. "You saved my life, sweetheart," she said, her voice thick with emotion. Mia hugged back, feeling the weight of the day but knowing they were stronger together. The weeks following the wedding were a turbulent sea for Laura and Mia. Their home, once filled with wedding plans and laughter, now felt both a refuge and a reminder of betrayal. Laura installed a state-of-the-art security system, cameras, motion sensors, the works, her protective instincts in overdrive. The police kept them updated, but Derek Malone remained at large, a specter haunting their peace. Ryan, now Ethan Cole, was in custody, his confession painting a chilling picture. A $2 million insurance payout, a fake accident during the honeymoon, and Derek as the enforcer. Lisa Grant, the blonde woman, was arrested, but Derek's absence loomed large. Mia, though rattled, found solace in Laura's fierce love. They started counseling together, untangling the fear and guilt of carrying such a heavy secret. "You're my hero, Mia," Laura would say, tucking her into bed, her red dress folded neatly on a chair. Mia smiled, but nightmares of Derek's scarred face woke her, her heart pounding. Laura noticed, making sure they talked openly. "No. More secrets, sweetheart," she'd say, brushing Mia's braids. Mia nodded, feeling safer each time. One crisp Saturday, Sarah, Laura's best friend, stopped by with a plan. "Sure you two need a breather," she said, pouring coffee in the kitchen. "How about a weekend at my lake cabin? Just us, no worries." Mia's eyes lit up, a spark of her old joy returning. "Can we fish?" she asked, bouncing in her seat. Laura hesitated, still wary, but Sarah's warmth was persuasive. "Okay," Laura said, smiling at Mia's excitement. "Let's make some good memories." The cabin trip was a balm for their souls. Surrounded by shimmering water and whispering pines, Laura and Mia rediscovered their laughter. They fished, baked s'mores, and stargazed, Mia's red dress swapped for a cozy sweater. One night by the crackling campfire, Laura pulled Mia close. "You taught me what matters most," she said, her voice soft. "You and me, always." Mia snuggled closer, her voice a whisper. "We saved each other, Mom." 2 months later, a breakthrough came. Officer Hayes called, his voice triumphant. "We got Malone," he said. "Caught in a sting operation. Trying another scam." With Ryan, Derek, and Lisa behind bars, Laura and Mia finally exhaled. The trials loomed, but Mia's testimony, clear, detailed, unshakable, was a cornerstone of the case. Laura reconnected with friends, her heart slowly healing. Mia thrived at school, joining the art club, her sketches bursting with color and hope. Have you ever found strength in family after a storm? Share your story below and subscribe for more tales of resilience. As spring bloomed, Laura and Mia felt lighter, their bond a fortress against the past. The shadow of Derek faded, replaced by a future they'd build together. On the one-year anniversary of the wedding that never happened, Laura and Mia created a new tradition. They packed a picnic, sandwiches, lemonade, and Mia's favorite chocolate, chip cookies, and drove to a sun-dappled meadow. Mia, in her beloved red dress, ran through the grass, sketching wildflowers while Laura watched, her heart full. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky in fiery orange and soft pink, Laura turned to Mia. "This year was a battle, but it showed me you're my everything," she said, her eyes shining. Mia grinned, hugging her tight. "Team Thompson forever, Mom." Driving home, Mia leaned against Laura, her red dress a symbol of her courage. Their story wasn't a fairy tale wedding, but a testament to love, truth, and resilience. Mia's bravery rippled through their community, inspiring others to trust their instincts and speak up, no matter how small their voice. Her red dress became a quiet legend, a reminder that even a child can change the world. If Mia's story stirred your heart, subscribe for more tales of heroism and hope. How would you face a truth as big as Mia's? Share in the comments, and let's keep the conversation alive.